Hello everyone, it's Jill Fountain here, and today I have got Kathy with me. Kathy, tell me your surname again.
The surname, if you're being English, is De Cicco. If you're
Cicco.
being Italian, it's De Cicco.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It is a lovely name, I must admit. And also, I think it's a memorable name. Now, I'll give you a little bit of background. I met Kathy a couple of years ago now and some of you, and actually Ralph might be watching today because he's a member of this group as well, with International Master Coach Ralph Watson. That's where I met you. I met you in Bronzegrove. We met up again in Warsaw, I think. I was speaking in both cases. And we started chatting, didn't we? And you told me that you were a ghostwriter. And I was like, wow. Well, no, it wasn't that wasn't the first thing. I asked you what you did and what your business was. And you said it was Dagger and Gill. And I thought, oh, hang on a minute, that can't be what I think it means. So I come from a printing background, a printing and paper background. So I had an inkling it might be something to do with publishing or writing. And then you explained it to me. So Kathy, could you talk to us first about how you came across your company's name, Dagger and Gill?
Well, basically, I got my idea for my business and I wanted a memorable name. And absolutely everything I came up with was already gone, or I couldn't get the website for it. And I was just messing around, big list of all silly things. I was kind of a bit silly with it. And I thought, I wanted it to be something related to what I do. And I came up with Dagger and Gill, and I said to my husband, do you think this would work as a name? Because it could have like two meanings. And I have been asked by somebody, do I kill people?
Oh, no.
I hope they were joking, but I'm not really sure. Because Dagger and Gill are proofreading terms. Dagger is a little dagger that refers you to the bottom of the page, and Gill simply means to delete a piece of text or a picture. And Martin went, yeah, Cody says, Cody said that's a really, really good name. He says, nobody will ever forget it.
No, absolutely.
Good bit of advice.
And it is, actually, we've just been talking as we've been waiting to get to the o'clock, and you were saying that I asked you where you got your business from. So could you explain could you repeat what you said?
We're
talking about Facebook and referrals.
Oh, where I can't get business from, yeah. It took me a long time to build up, getting to know people, because I didn't know anybody when I set up my business. Fortunately, I did this about a year before lockdown. So it was all networking. And this was in the days when we could go out and meet people.
That seems a long time ago, doesn't it?
It seems like a lifetime ago. But yeah, so we did 100 networking events in 6 months.
Did you?
Yeah. We were out every day doing one, two sometimes, any network meeting I could find. So of course that built up. People got to know me, and also I did Facebook, LinkedIn. I joined groups, tried to be helpful, and got people to know me. And then slowly I started getting work. But most of my work actually comes from referrals. People will say, well, I use Kathy for my book. If you're interested, get in touch. Hopefully they usually say she's great. She'll help you out. They wouldn't be referring me, would they, if they weren't happy? So yeah, so most of it comes from referrals. I get quite a lot of contact as well through Facebook.
That's interesting, because sometimes people say, I'm not getting anywhere on Facebook. I don't get anywhere in networking. I don't do, and actually what you're saying is exactly the reverse. You have got, but then you put, excuse me, it sounds to me as if you really put the effort in. I mean, not many people can say that they've done 100 as they start their business. that they've done 100 networking in 6 months, that, you know, they sort of creep up one a month, two a month maybe, but 100 in 6 months is actually amazing. And you did the groundwork. You absolutely must have done that groundwork where you were getting known around not only your own area, but also online as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I worked on the basis that if nobody knew me and they didn't know what I did, they weren't going to give me any work, because they just, to me, I just didn't exist.
No.
So it was about getting out there and being helpful. I mean, I'm always happy to offer anybody advice, and I don't charge for it. You know, I'll even edit a few pages for nothing, because I want to help.
You can, and I guess you're showing your work at that point as well, aren't you? You can show the difference that you can make. Yes. On a short piece of work. You can show what the difference between the manuscript that you get as opposed to the manuscript that you give back.
Absolutely, and also it shows people how I actually work, and it tells them whether or not we're a good fit, because obviously you do have personality clashes, and you just don't get on with some people, and they're never going to like what you do. So I always offer anybody who's thinking of working with me, I will edit your first 5 pages for free. I will do a full professional edit on it, and then we can see we like each other. It tells me how good they are.
Right.
Whether or not it's going to take me a few days or a few months to get through a 50,000 word manuscript. And it also shows them what I can do, because not everybody likes being told that this isn't right, you need to change this, you need to do it the other way around. It doesn't always go down well, so some people are convinced their book is perfect.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be saying anything like that.
I don't think such a thing is this, even after I've seen it, I still don't believe it's perfect. But pretty close. Pretty close.
Yeah. So we've sort of leapt about a bit here already. So when you say to people, I'm a ghostwriter, do you find that the majority of people sort of glaze over and they don't really understand what you mean?
Yeah, they glaze over, or they make some funny comment. They might say, so you only write about ghosts then? And you to the writing? No. And I can give them a bit more intrigue, and I go, so what is it that a ghostwriter really does? And I just say to them, I will write your book for you, working with you, but it will be your name that will always be associated with it. It won't ever, my name will have nothing to do with it, and you'll have a good book.
So it's actually a little bit like us doing white label work. We will do the work for somebody else, but we won't put our name on it. So you're actually with us, if we do any white label work, we never talk to the client. Whereas with you, you're working absolutely with the client to get that book out of them almost and up to publication.
Absolutely. Most of the people I work with have kind of got a book written, but it's not publishable in its current standards. So I will work with them, or sometimes they just say, just do what you need to do to it, okay, to make it shiny. And I go off and I do that based on their notes, and then I just get in touch with them every so often and say, yeah, it's going great. But what on earth were you on about here? Nothing makes sense, which happens more often than you think.
I find it incredibly interesting, because there are actually, although we've only got something like just over 200 members in this group, there are a lot of members that have got books, or the beginnings or the middles or the ends that are still sat in a drawer somewhere of a book that they want to write. And there must be I don't know whether it's timing or what it is, but there must be something that's putting them off from going from notes to actually pushing that button and doing the publication. I think many people can just write, but it's that finesse, that finishing, that is such a struggle.
Absolutely. I think sometimes as well, life gets in the way. You know, you've got this brilliant book and you spend 6 months bashing it out, everything, and then something happens and your time is taken away from you, and it goes into the drawer, or it might surface a year later and you might think, actually, this isn't that bad. I could do something with this. And sometimes if they connect with me, I can help them finish it.
Yeah.
Because they're usually quite a way through it. But yeah, I mean, if anybody's like that, just get in touch with me and I'll give you some guidance anyway. Probably the best thing I can say is if you are writing a book, don't put it in the drawer unfinished. Say, I'm going to finish this book. I will do 500 words a day, 300, 200, whatever. The thing is to do it regularly, to do it every day, but something that's achievable.
I actually sat, and I think I've told you that I've got a book sat in my drawer somewhere, and I sat in, I started it very, very, very draft, unbelievable messy draft, and then I sat by the swimming pool in Spain. And I finished it off, and at the end I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to do something better than that. All the facts were there, and I don't know if anybody else gets this, but all the facts were there, but there was no fun in it. And I guess this is where you come in, isn't there? All the information was down on the paper, and it was like, do the guidelines, tips, everything. And then I looked at it, I'm like, oh heavens, that, who's going to keep reading that to the end? And this is where you come in, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's where I can help you with that, because the biggest question, the first question I always say to everybody, what do you want the book to do for you? Because it isn't just about writing the end. Particularly if it's a business book, do you want it to increase your brand awareness? Do you want more clients? Do you want it to use it to get people to register on courses? Or do you just want to get into the Amazon top 10 bestseller list, because all that will impact on what happens in the book.
It is, now let me try and get this. I think there's a lot of people that they just want to write a book, but they don't see the value of the add-on after they've written a book. So you've gone through all of that work. You've sometimes worked with a copywriter or a ghostwriter like yourself. They get to the publication, they go, I've done it. That's it. Don't need to go back to it now. But the opportunities that come from having a book out, and particularly if it's a bestseller, are amazing. They're just...
If people don't see that, they don't put the work in beforehand, because particularly in the fiction world, it's the same like when I was starting my business. If nobody knows you're writing a book, they're not going to buy it.
No.
So at least 12 months before you're even thinking of writing the end, you should be publishing information about it. Put out feelers, intrigue people, start building up your reader base. And, because people miss that part.
But but also you can pre-sell it, can't you? Ooh. Yes, you can. I'm just trying to think of a conversation I've had this week where we were talking about pre-selling. Now, some people have pre-sold the amount to be able to get, if everything's working out on Amazon, because Amazon have all sorts of criteria that you have to leap through to get an international bestseller. But sometimes just by getting those pre-sales and really ramping up the numbers, you're already on the way to getting a bestseller before you've even got it launched.
Absolutely, but people don't ever think that far in advance. So that's one thing that I like to connect with people and say, yeah, great book. Why aren't you advertising it? Why aren't you telling people you're doing it? Put an excerpt on social media. Intrigue people. Get them looking for it, because if they know it's coming out at Christmas, they're going to buy it.
Yeah.
Particularly if you've got a connection with them as well.
But it's not only business books you do, is it? You help people with. It's all sorts of different types, fiction and non-fiction. Is that right?
Yeah. I do both. At the moment, I've been doing more fiction. I don't know whether it's because people have written more during lockdown, and suddenly they have a finished book they don't know what to do with. But yeah, I can, on a fiction book, I can do proofreading. I can edit it, and I can actually help you write it if need be.
Yeah, lovely. Have you, I'm going off again, have you thought, it's like an inquisition today, isn't it? I'm sorry about this.
Right.
Questions keep coming up. Journals are really, seem to have come into their own during lockdown.
Yes.
Whether it's because people want to make a historic, they want to be able to tell the grandchildren or their grandchildren as they grow up what it was like, or they're just trying to get down their feelings and their emotions on a day-to-day basis so they can look back to see how they've improved. But I do think that journals have actually come into their own during lockdown.
Yeah, I'd absolutely agree with that, particularly because lockdown has had a detrimental effect on our mental health, because we can't connect with people, we can't meet the people we want to. We suddenly, even shopping's a drama now, because it's not only have I got my wallet in my bag, it's have I got my mask, have I got my hand sanitizer, am I prepared to queue? So I think journals have been a big help as well with people's mental health. But like you say, I think this is unprecedented times in our lifetime. So I think people want to write down, because in 2 years' time we'll forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we will have forgotten an awful lot, won't we? Yeah. So have you got a favourite type of book?
I quite like working with fiction authors, because I write myself as well.
Oh, do you?
Yes. I'm
I didn't realise.
working on my own fiction book at the moment.
Oh, right. We ought to put a link up to them underneath this video. We'll do that later. We'll have a look and we'll get them up.
Yeah, it's a new book, and it does have ghosts in it.
Oh, does it? Wow, why wouldn't it?
Well, exactly. Why not?
Why not?
I like fiction because I get a lot of satisfaction from being able to help somebody with a book, because I can give them their book back at publishable quality, and I like helping them.
Yeah. Well, I do think that if you can say that you've written a book, but also you've got it published, that published bit is just such a sense of achievement when you've done that.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll be able to say that for my book one day. But I get a lot of satisfaction for knowing that I've helped somebody publish their book. I've helped them become an author. It's a nice warm feeling inside.
It is nice, and I mean, I go, I'm on LinkedIn quite a lot, but when I see the word author in that top header, they tell you what they've done, and I've done this, I've done that, and then it says author. I think, oh, now that impresses me.
Funny enough, it impresses me as well. I would think, author, what have they done? What books have they got? How many have they written? What's it about?
And isn't it funny how
instantly intrigued?
I couldn't hear.
Instantly interested in
yes,
in what, because I'm an author.
Yeah. I did think at one point that we wouldn't have so many books being written, when we went into this digital age that we're in now, and they were saying, that's it, paper's out, books are not going to be used. We've gone full circle, haven't we?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm an avid reader as well, and I'm lucky that I can read very quickly. So I read ebooks. I've got about 1,000 ebooks on my reader. But as you can see behind me, that's just a very small section of the books that I read, and I reread them as well. I read them more than once.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I've got books I've read 6, 7, 8 times.
Really?
So yeah.
I know I've got a few favourite ones that I won't give away at all, or I won't pass on because I want to read them again. You were saying that you were thinking, and I'm going to bring this up, that you were thinking that you might do a readers or a writers group or something like that.
Yes, it's something I've been toying with. I just want to make sure I've got the proper amount of time to donate to it to make it good. Because if I'm going to put my effort into it, I want it to be good. I want people to like it. I just thought it'd be nice somewhere where people can get together and talk about the books they're writing or an idea they've got, and I can help them, even if it's just giving them some tips and the best way to start, how to plan out your book, and something like that. So yeah, so I think I will do. It's just I need to sit down and plan it properly.
Well, it's all in the planning, isn't it? Absolutely. It is all in the planning. I'm going to pop your share the screen over to your website, because we haven't even broached on that at the moment, but people will be able to see your logo as well. Let's just get this shared over. So here we are, Dagger and Gill. I do love that. It's very, very clear, isn't it? And then you've gone into your different ways of your different ones: ghostwriting, proofreading, editing. And literally, Kathy, if anybody's interested, you've got all of this across the top as well, including articles and more articles, and good grief. But if anybody's interested, they could Facebook message you.
Absolutely, yes, yeah. So contact me through email.
Yeah,
it's all on the website. So yeah. I'm easily contactable.
That's right. And you're here anyway. If they even just put a message underneath in any of the comments and popped your name in, you'd see it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you very much, Kathy. It's been lovely finding out a little bit more about you, but as ever, it's always a pleasure. Absolutely. Always a pleasure. There's always something more interesting that I can find out about the work that you do. Thank you very much. And if anybody's interested in contacting Kathy, please do give her a shout, either in the group here, Facebook, or obviously you can go through to your website and email. So we're going to say goodbye now, but I'll have this on YouTube, Kathy, so we can pull that down with the links and you can share it here, there and everywhere.
I will indeed.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye-bye.